Hello, everyone. I am your host, Sherry Kim, and welcome to the second day of the Piano League Piano Star International Competition Grand Finals. Like yesterday, I'm here co-hosting with Piano League's Executive Director, Brian Lin.
Hi, everyone. Hi again. And last night, we had a real pleasure listening to our 20 amateur grand finalists. And today, we will be listening to the 12 grand finalists of the professional division, 4 from each age category. So, before we start, let's just go over the rules real quick. Let me put on. All right. Here we go. So, first, the videos have been recorded, and we've verified this, that they were recorded in the 3 weeks leading up to the grand finals. Performances over the time limit are cut within 30 seconds of the portion exceeding the time limit. And if a video experiences any technical difficulties such as echoes, interruptions, or muting while playing, the recording will be replayed from the beginning.
All right. So now let's talk about voting. So each judge will be given placement votes, which are basically rankings to the grand finalists in each group without any ties. And the judges will not need to give any points or scores. That will be handled automatically, which Brian will explain in the next slide.
Yes. So the placement votes will be assigned what's called point values. So the first place votes are worth 10 points, second place votes are worth 9 points, third place 8 points, and fourth place 7 points. The pianist with the highest total points will become the gold medalist of that.
Great. So we do have rules for tiebreakers if it does happen. If there's a two-way tie, then the contestant voted higher from 2 of the 3 judges wins.
Yes.
And we also have rules for a three-way tie, and this is very, very rare. It has actually never happened in our competition. But if it does, and each judge prefers a different contestant, then we will have to use the executive votes from the competition's directors to decide that tiebreaker.
Now, finally, because our competition is one of the most transparent ones, we will, as always, release all votes from all judges to the public after the competition.
Awesome. All right. So now we would like to introduce our 3 judges. So the performances today that you'll be hearing all have been pre-recorded. However, our judges today will be listening and watching in real time. So if you watched the amateur division yesterday, you would know that for the first time in our competition, we have had judges comment on each individual performance, just like we did with the final round previously.
Correct. And that's because of the overwhelmingly positive feedback on the verbal comments provided by our judges in the final round, which is the last round. So we decided to allow our judges from the grand final round to also share their wisdom with the grand final audience. So I'd like to start by introducing the judges. Our first judge tonight will be Enrico Elisi. He is on the piano faculty at the University of Toronto. He is a frequent guest artist at many music festivals, including Cincinnati's Art of the Piano, Todi Music Masters, Amalfi Coast Festival, and more. He has served on the juries of many competitions, including chairing for Palma d'Oro in Italy. So everyone, please welcome Dr. Elisi.
Hi.
Good morning, everybody. And it's a great pleasure to be here. And I say hi to all the contestants, as well as the families and friends and anyone else in the audience tonight.
Great. Awesome. All right, so we will now introduce our second judge. Our second judge is Robert McDonald. He is a member of the piano faculties at the Juilliard School and at the Curtis Institute of Music. He is the artistic director of the Taos School of Music and Chamber Music Festival in New Mexico. He has performed as a solo recitalist, chamber musician, and for many years as recital partner to Isaac Stern and other distinguished instrumentalists. Please welcome Mr. McDonald.
Hello, everybody. I'm delighted to be part of this. It's kind of a new experience for me to do something like this online, and the format of this particular organization and the way they put it together is a pleasure to encounter. So, best of luck to all of the contestants as we move forward here this afternoon.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And finally, our third judge is Yong Hi Moon. Since 2002, she has been a professor of piano at the Peabody Institute of Johns Hopkins University. She has served on the juries of many international competitions like Gina Backauer International Competition, Virginia Waring International Competition, and the Seoul International Piano Competition. Lastly, her presence is very special for me because she was my own piano teacher at Peabody. So please welcome Miss Moon. Hi, Miss Moon.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm so happy to doing something that Brian has started and founded, and it's doing a great, great job. And good luck to all the contestants, and have a great evening.
All right. So if our judges are ready, and if our audience is ready, we will start the competition. First, we have Professional Group 1, ages 12 and under. Our first grand finalist is Luis Gao from Charlotte, North Carolina, and he will be playing Franz Schubert's Impromptu in E flat major, Opus 90, number 2. Everyone, please welcome Luis.
Wonderful performance, Louis. Now we're going to invite our first judge to speak about Louis's performances. Enrico, would you like to speak about his performance?
Wonderful. In many ways, I thought that it was flowing very naturally, and that I think that there was attention to the harmonic changes that caused even a small decrease in tempo so that you could hear each and every note. That was very beautiful. And so were the transitions to the return to the main material in E flat major. Perhaps my suggestion would be to look more carefully at that B minor middle section. It sounded a bit too abrupt, and that caused, the abrupt beginning caused in many moments a change in the sound that was a bit rough, I think. And that is true of the ending as well, where the acceleration should never come to the point where I think the pedal becomes unclear. There were many moments where I thought pedaling started overlapping a little too much. And so somehow the fingers were faster than the foot in that sense. So it's something to think about in the future, but a beautiful performance nevertheless.
Great. Thank you so much. All right. Now we will go on to our second contestant of Group 1. His name is Andrew Yin, and he's from San Jose, California, USA. He'll be playing the first movement of Piano Sonata number 17 in D minor, Opus 31 number 2 by Beethoven. Please welcome Andrew.
apologize for the interruption, but we did mention that long performances that are over the time limit will be cut. So right now, I'd like to invite Miss Moon for some comments on Andrew's performance.
Okay, wonderful, very, very beautiful, and so you showed so much of the musicality, the intensity of the music that's needed for this piece, Beethoven's Life. For 10 years, I am very, very impressed how you could hear things between the notes, the rest, and how it's so well understood the shape of the phrases and put them together. We are limited for 30 seconds, so I'm just gonna say some things that probably it's difficult because you're still small, the physical aspect of it. Some of the sforzandos, and if you follow the score really well, Beethoven, especially for Beethoven, the sforzandos are really important. It's not just playing louder, but using the timing and the meaning of the sforzando that provides and helps the structure of his music and his phrases. Some of the sforzandos, I missed some of them, but I must say really, really bravo for the beautiful, the largo sections. It was wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Moon, for that comment. So moving on, next up, we have Isabella Yichen Xue from San Jose, California, USA. And she will be playing Etude de Sonorite number 2 by Francois Morel. So please welcome Isabella Yichen.
Bravo, Isabel. All right, we're going to now invite Mr. McDonald up to comment on her performance.
Enjoyed hearing that very much, Isabella. It's not a work that I've encountered too often, and I've always been struck by how attractive the music is. It's an excellent piece. Listening to you, your ability to maneuver around the challenges pianistically is at a high level. Everything is sort of impeccably in place from that standpoint. There seems to be kind of two characters that the piece is centers on, and one is a more incisive, exciting kind of rhythmically driven character. It starts that way. It in some ways also keeps circling back into that area of musical, sort of the characterization of the music. Then there's this very poetic and a freer kind of music that the composer uses as contrast, and you do that very beautifully, actually. My main thought to you would be that the music that starts the etude and as it comes back at various times throughout the etude and ends it, that there be a much more incisive and sort of exciting kind of rhythmic drive in the way you think about the music. It has a slightly too relaxed feeling, you might say, and sometimes to a student I'll say, you're a little bit on the backside of the beat rather than being on the front side of it, or even just right on top of it. And those are the things that will make a difference in the way the control of tempo comes through in your performance. And I think it might help transform what is already very excellent on many levels.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. McDonald. All right, and now we are going on to our final contestant in Group 1. His name is Joseph J. Yoon, and he's from Fairfax, Virginia, USA. And he'll be playing the first movement of Piano Sonata in C major, Hoboken 1650, by Haydn. Please welcome Joseph.
Thank you, Joseph. And that is the last contestant of Professional Group 1. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Elisi for some words on Joseph's performance.
Thank you. I enjoyed very much the spirit of the composition. I think the brilliant quality of it, the cheerful parts of the piece were very much approached very beautifully. I think one of the hardest thing for a young pianist, I think, is to come to terms with the different piano writings of these composers. And in this case, there is a lot of orchestral writing in this music. So one of the difficulties is to match a little bit, to ask those questions about what might Haydn want to do with those broken octaves, for example, or Alberti bass. Is it always pianistic, or could it be that sometimes some of these ondulatory movements have to do, I think, with the execution of a second violinist, for example. And therefore, the articulation of the fingers is much closer to the keyboard. It's much more sensitive, let's say. So one of the things that happened, I think, is that the 16th notes, the articulation of the 16th notes was a little bit too similar, extremely sharp, very intense, let's say. And I would have loved to have maybe some areas of differentiation, not solely by using the pedal, really, but differentiations based on the thematic areas, or where the music becomes chromatic, so it has a different meaning. For example, even colors in the part where you have the open pedal indicated by the composer, right? It could have been even more pianissimo. And I realize it's hard to do that with a brighter instrument, but also different qualities of staccatos have to be considered. You know, the quality of resonant chords that are more majestic in nature, you know, maybe more elongated with the pedal because they sound very sharp, you know, very abrupt in a way. So maybe I would have made some suggestions, I think, in that direction, to look more orchestrally about this composition with more colors.
Thank you so much, Dr. Elisi.
All right, now we are going to be moving on to Group 2, ages 13 through 15. Our first contestant is Jarman Wang, and he'll be playing the fourth movement of Piano Sonata in E-flat minor, Opus 26 by Samuel Barber. Please welcome Jarman.
Thank you, Jarmin, for that performance. I'd like to invite Miss Moon back for some comments on Jarmin's performance.
Okay, wonderful. What an incredibly competent playing and technically really well mastered. I would like to add a few things. I think most important thing I would have liked to hear was at the beginning, the first part, if the entrance of the motives, each motive's entrance, if I could have heard more interestingly as a conversation, as if it's as a conversation, and then the shift of the key time signatures, so that how the pulse is moving with the textures he's using. I think you could have used a lot stronger impression of that. That the reason his shift of the time signatures when it's going from 3/2 to 3/8, for example, there is an urgency that he has to shift the time signatures. I think that's the most important thing, and a lot more of the dimension of the colors and the registers in harmonic dimensions. I could have used it more. Why is he using 3 steps? Because he needs to, and so it's brilliant playing and very impressive for 15-year-old. So since you are so talented, I think you could expand your imagination and knowledge of the composer's intentions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moon. All right, up next, we have our second contestant in Group 2, David Choi from Los Angeles, California, and he will be playing Chopin's Ballade No. 1 in G minor. Please welcome David.
Great job. So I know we were very close to the end, but we have to follow these rules for everyone to ensure fairness. Now we're going to invite Mr. McDonald up to comment on David's performance.
Bravo, David. There's so much in your interpretation of this work that I agree with and am convinced by. There's an unusual level of mature thinking for somebody at your stage of life, and you use your quite wonderful virtuosity, the capacity you have at the instrument always is at the service of what the music is trying to do in this particular work. A couple of quick thoughts. First of all, the introduction is rarely played as convincingly as I heard you approach it today, and it's such an important aspect of how one addresses this piece, because it's of course the gateway to everything, and you set that up very beautifully. A couple of simple things that might be easy to fix, or at least to consider. You may not want to fix them, but it's up to you. In the main theme, the way you listen and shape the melodic material is excellent. There's a tendency, and this happens with a lot of pianists, the accompaniment that is in the quarter notes on the second and third and fifth and sixth beats within the bars. Try not to slow down. Don't allow their weak beats. They should not be emphasized in any kind of way that pulls the unfolding of the line backwards at all. You often don't do it later in the piece when that material shows up. So maybe consider, concentrating on noticing if that's a tendency. The other thing, at the beginning of the piece, and the other thing might be, you lead into the second theme very beautifully, very convincingly. Chopin marks it pianissimo, and often people, in an effort to play cantabile, and to respect that aspect of what has to be there in his music, kind of forget that in comparison to the first theme, this is that much more inward, at least at the very beginning. And try thinking about that a little bit. The contrast between the first theme and this theme could have been stronger. It's a simple enough task for somebody like you who understands music from the inside out very, very well, actually, to just think about it. And you also want to understand, or make us understand, that when that second theme comes back, it's in the most extroverted of forms. So think of, as we first hear it, how much more effective it might be if it's played with a greater sense of inward feeling. But anyway, terrific. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. McDonald. All right, we're now moving on to our third contestant. His name is Andrei Bakalov from Columbus, Ohio, USA, playing Prelude in G minor, Opus 23, number 5 by Sergei Rachmaninoff. Please welcome Andrei.
Thank you, Andre. And now I'd like to invite Dr. Elisi for some comments on Andre's playing.
Thank you, Andre. Beautiful performance in many ways and convincing. I would just remark upon very few details, perhaps, that could be maybe thought of. I felt that maybe you were trying to relax your hand a little bit on the eighth notes in the very beginning, so more movements of your wrist. But independently on how you try to achieve the eighth notes, da-da-dum, bum, bum, the thematic material, I felt that somehow the incisiveness of your rhythm did not quite come through in the same way. There were some moments that were better, of course, but it felt a little bit too loose from that standpoint. And I don't refer to the 16th notes. That was quite good. The yum, patapam, patapam. So more incisive, a bit more energetic in some ways. That's what I missed, because after all, it is alla marcia, right? And a lot of the eighth notes also have dashes, I believe, if I can remember correctly, by Rachmaninoff. So it's important to see when there are these dashes and when there aren't. Even in the way you make decisions with pedal, not all eighth notes are equally long, sounding like a quarter because of the pedal. They can be interpreted that way, of course, but there should still be a small distinction in any way. And also in the middle part, perhaps I would recommend going, not trusting only the left hand to be your leader. I think you wanted a certain exactness between the 16th notes, and that transformed the eighth notes on the top, the A, B, C theme, a little bit following, as if it were following your left hand instead of leading. And so that becomes a bit too related to the beats in time, as opposed to being related to the rainbow, the destination of such eighth notes, which are generally at least the long quarter note, or at the end of the semi-phrase or phrase when there is a rest, right? It should have conveyed that with more clarity. So maybe try not to follow so much the direction of the left hand, but allow that left hand to follow the direction of the melody a little bit more. That's what I would say.
Thank you, Dr. Elisi. All right, so our final contestant in group 2 will be Yufei Chen from New York, and she will be playing the first and second movement of Petrushka by Stravinsky. Please welcome Yufei.
Wonderful performance, Yufei. We're now going to bring Ms. Moon up to give comments on Yufei's performance.
I am very impressed. I don't play this piece. I have small hands, and you seem to have small hands too, but the way you manage is amazing. that was wonderful. Now, as we all know, Stravinsky is a contemporary baritone who also used a lot of uses Russian folk music and folk songs, folk music, and it's very difficult for us to feel the authentic elements of his music or baritone with the same boat, that they're using the not knowing the language, but we would like to go as close as possible, knowing their folk tunes and folk music, and so that we can express the music as if we can taste it, we can smell it, and so those things, I think, at your age, you already accomplished so much, so you could go even deeper into discovering these things. I think your rhythm was pretty good, considering how difficult it is. I thought maybe so. For example, towards the end, at the coda of the second movement, the long notes could have felt longer, and the lento, if for example at the very bottom, should be slower and much more pianissimo. Pianissimo is much softer, probably difficult. That I don't know the piano and the acoustic, but things could have been more exaggerated than what you did. And then the technical things, the beginning, all the chords and difficult things could have been a little bit more of feeling bottom of the keys at the same time lifted up, so that we have a yababam parabababababa with the rhythmic vitality have been a lot more lively. But I mean, as I said, you accomplished already so much. My personal recommendation, you maybe ever heard, saw the ballet, and Petrushka is played by Nureyev, not the modern ballet dancers, but it's played by Russian dancer Nureyev. I love that movie, and you feel like you really get to know the music by seeing what they do with ballet, and that's my recommendation. Other than that, I think you're a very fine pianist. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Moon. And that is a wrap for Group 2. We're now going to move on to our final group for the day, Group 3. And our first contestant is Yiming Huang from Princeton, New Jersey, USA. And he'll be playing Chromatic Fantasia and Fugue in D minor, BWV 903 by J.S. Bach. Please welcome Yiming.
that performance. And Mr. McDonald, would you like to share a few thoughts on Yiming's performance?
Yiming, congratulations, first of all. You held my attention, and often when I hear this Fantasia played, that's not the case. It's not the easiest thing to talk about in terms of just offering some thoughts, some helpful criticisms, but I'll give it a try. I noticed at the beginning that your most interesting playing always seemed to occur when you were playing more quietly. Make sure that the bravura aspect of the music is being addressed with a sufficient amount of sort of inner tension. That's always determined by how do you handle the silences in between the scale-wise motion, and also how do you feel what is going on in the harmonic underpinning. That's the thing that's so challenging for a performer in addressing this piece as a whole. The aspect of your performance that perhaps you want to zero in a little bit more on is that the second half of the Fantasia, Bach is searching over and over again. He goes from one harmony to another, and often I found when you arrived on those harmonies that your reactions were too similar, and that if you just simply asked yourself each time, no matter how many times in the sequence of this long passage, that there is a spontaneous reaction, that you feel, whether the chord is major, whether the chord is minor, whatever it happens to be. And then finally, when he does seem to find towards the end of the work exactly where he's, whatever he's been looking for, and there's that incredible descending phrase that leads us to the final cadence in D major. That could be more completely realized. There's a sense of pathos in that music that is irresistible, and you are partially there with it. Just be thinking about how long it took for Bach to find that as you move through this endless sequence of harmonic progressions. And once he finds it, once you find it as the performer, what does it do, to your own frame of mind, and how do you lead the listener all the way down to that D major chord that sets up the fugue that follows. Anyway, there's a lot that you're doing that is excellent, and it's just it's that piece like this is like this kind of vast canvas for the interpreter. It requires almost a different kind of thinking. It's much more improvisatory than so much of Bach often is, and unusually so because of the scale of the piece itself. Anyway, someday I hope I hear your fugue. I would love to just experience your complete interpretation of this work. All right, thank you though very much, Yiming.
Thank you, Mr. McDonald, for that comment. Moving on, we have our second contestant. Her name is Tuya Yalan Xu, and she is from Chinese Taipei. Please, and she will be playing Chopin's Scherzo No. 2. Please welcome Tuya.
Tuya, that was a wonderful performance. We're now going to bring up Dr. Elisi for some comments.
Thank you, Tuya. Very beautiful playing, very musical, and in many instances also very convincing. Brava. Just a couple of thoughts. This piece, along perhaps with the first ballade, is probably from the time of Chopin, when he used to teach this repertoire himself, right? The stories go that he never let the student go for the entire lesson without talking about the beginnings, right? And that's what here in master classes, everybody talks about the beginning, and then the master class is over because the beginning is so hard, right? So you did very well. I would just suggest looking at the connection between these two bars in sottovoce quality that are followed by two bars in fortissimo, because the score marks equally this, but then in that case we have to look at the difference, the differences with the basis and the harmonic implications. And sometimes we expect exactly the level of the third bar in time, and at some point you could delay even a little bit to make more of a shock. The first is a B flat, the second is A flat, and so on. Maybe pick one that is more meaningful and more majestic. The B flat minor chord has a different color from definitely the next experience. So there should be some differentiation among these colors. And right there, as well as maybe near the end, be more aware of how you use, your movements from the shoulder down, because sometimes at certain climaxes you go a little too directly with the forearm and the keyboard, and that causes the sound to be a bit more strident, I suppose. I would also curate the left hand more carefully in the con anima section, the first beautiful melody that appears right after the very beginning. It's very busy. You can hear all the notes, and sometimes some notes may be distracting us from otherwise a very beautifully crafted melody, which is very musical. I would also consider maybe a little bit more attentively those voices, the voice quality in the A major section. I know that you listen to the pauses and to the long notes very carefully, and try to hear the inner voices, and the balance between voices. Sometimes it's there, and sometimes it's maybe less accurate. And in the following section, after the A major, the one with the G sharp, F sharp, T-ra-ram, da-da-dee-da-da-da, that section maybe try to think a little bit more of the bass line. I found that maybe it needed to have more control in the overall structure. And then there are some traditions, maybe perhaps challenged by Christian Zimmermann lately, which is the leggero section in E major, where you start running with the eighth notes in right hand. But Chopin really didn't write an acceleration immediately, and that became some sort of a repetitive tradition. He writes the animando much later. So if there is a way to organically get to this spiral, and getting faster more organically, I would recommend looking at the texture and what maybe Chopin may have indicated a bit more carefully. Otherwise, it was a very beautiful and musical performance. Bravo, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Elisi. All right, we're now going on to our third contestant, Mihiro Kato from Los Angeles, California, USA. She'll be playing the third and fourth movements of Piano Sonata number 28 in A major, Opus 101 by Beethoven. Please welcome Mihiro.
Thank you, Mihilo, for that performance. Now I'd like to invite Ms. Moon for some comments on Mihilo's performance.
Okay, well, as we all know how difficult late Beethoven sonatas are, and for you to really try to attempt to play this piece, I applaud your courage. And this kind of pieces stays with you the rest of your life. So it stays with my rest of my life. With I've been playing piano for many more years than you did. I think there are many details that I'd like to talk about, which I don't think I will avoid that and give few general remarks. The third movement is Beethoven writes mit einer Seite. It's a one string, it means one string. So I see that you use the upright piano. So I don't know how much of the una coda, the left pedal, would have worked. Probably not very well. But I want you to know that. And also, let's not do things that he didn't write. Let's do things that he wrote to our best knowledge and effort, and not to the things that he didn't write. So, meaning the end of the phrases, the cadence is making a swell, and the end. I don't think so. And also, as the texture goes thicker, making a crescendo, where he does not write the crescendo, meaning it's actually going against the human instinct in a way. So we have to go against the natural instinct sometimes, because the pedal point is very long. So you need to understand the left hand really well, what he's doing, long pedal points along with all the color shifts. And so the melody that we create in the fugue as well is not because of the instrument itself, the piano, is given. We don't have to look for intonation because it's given. We don't have to look for pitches, but we all have to think that we have intonation and pitches as well. So that I need for you to seek and look for the things at the piano that to your best knowledge. The melodies are not just a series of addition. Mathematically speaking, I love to use this phrase. The melodies are a series of additions through the multiplication. And that's the one that you should be really looking for. And then the most important thing I'd like to one advice to give you is, how can we avoid the physical gesture that does not always go with the music? For some different kind of reason, technical reasons, we move physically, or we move physically horizontally because the notes go up, or we move physically because there's a crescendo. The one advice to you is that I would like you to develop to listening to your own sound. Actually, it's not just to you, it's for everybody. That's one of the hardest things to do in playing piano, listening to your own sound, not just listening to your own imagination or you think you are doing, which is, it's difficult to do it. But to start with, try not to move so much physically, going up and down around the circles with your body. So with your physical movements. So to close my remark, that try to develop your inner ears to your thoughts and connect to the composer's remarks that we can read from the score as much as possible. It's a difficult task, but I can see that you are a very intelligent girl, that you are already on a good start with your piano playing. So I think you can probably establish pretty soon, what I'm trying to give you an advice to listen to your own sound. Try to develop inner ears. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moon, for that comment. All right, moving on, we have the final contestant of this afternoon. And her name is Rachel Zhu. She will be playing Bolero in A minor by Chopin. And she is from Columbus, Ohio. I forgot to mention that. Everyone, please welcome Rachel.
Great job, Rachel. And now we're going to invite Mr. McDonald to provide some comments for Rachel's performance.
It's just plain refreshing to hear this piece, mostly because it's not aired very often, and it has such an unusual sort of effect, I think, on the listener. The underlying melancholy that is there in the music seems to be kind of an unexpected aspect of it because of the idea of what a bolero is, and in fact you might even say that Chopin's idea of the bolero rhythm springs more from his sort of innate feeling for the Polonaise rhythm, and it's hard to separate one from the other. I'm certainly more familiar with the Polonaise rhythm myself, but in any case, the piece, I think, sprang from some sort of fashion of the time in terms of Spanish dance music in Paris in a particularly concentrated time frame that Chopin had encountered. Watch at the beginning. You play the opening G octaves with sufficient energy, but remind yourself that there's a fermata on each one of them. You're pretty much playing it in a strict kind of tempo at the beginning, and you might want to, just because it is an introduction, and it's nothing more than gesture, but you might want to elongate and see how that feels to you. The cadenza material that follows is very nicely played. You can always, your facility is excellent. You can always be creating up a more heightened sense of, leggerissimo. If the composer writes the comparative, form of that word, he or she has something very specific in mind. So a heightened sense of the color of it could create more of a wow effect for the listener. You certainly have the fingers to handle the passage very effectively. The idea of the più lento, and almost more than the più lento, his marking of con anima is perhaps even more important. And you're addressing it. Con anima in Chopin really refers so much to a sense of, with sort of great sort of inward feeling almost. And that gives way, to the main theme there at the Allegro vivace. And you do a nice job all the way through, really, of this theme. Remind yourself every once in a while when you're practicing to just investigate the left-hand rhythms. In general, you handle them well, and they are very much on your mind as you play the right-hand material. But again, at times, almost a double dotting kind of effect might be interesting. So yours occasionally sound very literal, da 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 da, and nothing exactly wrong with that, but something is a bit more stylish when we actually feel a kind of a snap to that rhythm. And so be thinking about how to use that in the way you shape this music. One thing that I did notice that could be more effectively sort of put forward is in the A flat major section, your playing of the right hand material gets a little bit, and the figurations are often elaborate. Discipline the way you approach those figurations with a stronger sense of just the tension and the rhythm of the left hand, and it's kind of the one area of your performance that seemed to lose a certain kind of dynamic energy that it should also retain, even if it's a dreamier kind of character in general, but underlying it, your sense of how you guide the notes needs to be governed by a stronger feeling of the pulse. And that's always most easily addressed by just paying attention to how you would phrase the left hand. And those are kind of the main suggestions. Sometimes when you go into the A major, I was wishing for a little bit. He in each case he writes risoluto, and the difference between the A minor, C major, whatever you want to call it, and the A major could be more striking. And so just keep in mind that those differences, even if they may not seem like they're necessarily his most inspired ideas, but the idea of just how the key relationships and the changes of mode work, and that sense of contrast will, the stronger it is, the more heightened a feeling is interpretively in terms of your performance. Anyway, enjoyed hearing this very, very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. McDonald. Really appreciate it. And that is a wrap. We have listened to all 12 grand finalists in the professional division, and we have received comments from our 3 wonderful judges. This was truly a wonderful event for us all. Oh, Brian, you're still muted.
All right. So we will now give our judges some time to finalize their votes. Just like yesterday, our grand finalists in the professional division also prepared a special presentation for all of us to enjoy and watch. It's something in their life that is unrelated to piano. So without further ado, let's take a look.
Your Honors, opposing counsel, may it please the court. Hello, my name is Rachel Zhu. I am 16 going on 17 and I live in Central Ohio. Old books, bubble tea, and music theory are a few of my favorite things. If you couldn't tell from the intro, I participate in an extracurricular known as mock trial. It's where a team of attorneys and witnesses argue out a fictional court case. I've been a part of my school's mock trial team for the past 3 years, and this year I am an attorney. I'm really excited that this year we will be competing in a real courtroom for the first time since COVID hit. I also play a second instrument, which is called a guzheng, also known as a Chinese zither. I've been learning the instrument for about 3 years, and I participate in an ensemble group. We have a lot of fun rehearsing and performing around our community, and I just think that the traditional Chinese clothing is really pretty. Well, that's all. Hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Lewis Gao. I come from Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm 9 years old. I'm so excited to join the grand final this year. I played the piano almost for 4 years. Every day when I go home from school, I always practice 2 hours of piano. I also play violin for 2 years. Learning violin could be hard, but it still could be fun though. When I have spare time, I always draw stuff or build Lego sets. These are all my creations. This is all about me. Thank you for watching my self-introduction. Bye, have a great winter.
Hi everyone, I am Andrew Yin
and I really enjoy many activities, both indoors and outdoors, besides playing the piano. My favorite outdoor activity is to play knockout, which is a shooting game, and basketball with my friends at school. My favorite indoor activity is to read books. I just currently finished reading Book 12, The Poison Jungle from the Wings of Fire series, which is written by Toy D. Sutherland. My other favorite indoor activity is to play video games. I think it makes people more creative. These are some activities I really enjoy besides playing the piano.
Hello, my name is David Choi. I'm 15 years old and a freshman at Stanford Online High School. I also attend Colburn Academy, where I study with Haejin Kim. Some things besides piano that I enjoy doing are video games and basketball. I enjoy playing video games such as League of Legends and Valorant because it helps me connect with my friends and take some time off of school and piano. Basketball is also a good way to connect with my friends. I've always enjoyed playing and watching sports, but basketball is my favorite. I don't really have a favorite basketball team, but I'd say my favorite player is Stephen Curry. As a pianist, I think it's important to keep your body healthy and active. Oh, I also forgot to mention another thing. I enjoy going to the beach and riding my bicycle. The scenery and fresh breeze always give me a refreshment. Well, that's my brief introduction. I want to thank the Piano League for giving me this incredible opportunity. I'm excited to perform and hear the other pianists and wish them luck. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isabella Xie. I am 11 years old. I live in San Jose, California. In my free time, I enjoy creating pictures of different things. Drawing is fun because it is interesting to work with different materials, like sketch, acrylic, or regular colored pencil drawings. My pictures are inspired by my memories and events that occur in my daily life. For example, this cat was inspired by a cute picture, and I work on my creations on the weekends when I feel creative. I also love playing basketball with my dad and my little sister. Often, we would go out and play as a way to spend time together. This is a great form of exercise and keeps our energy up so we can stay awake. When we play basketball, we let go of our worries and enjoy ourselves. In addition, I love outdoor exercises such as rock climbing. It helps me to practice that I should never give up and I need to try my best and keep going in order to overcome my fears. During vacation, my parents take us traveling. My sister and I both share a common love, going to the beach. We can listen to the comforting sound of the billowing waves and run on the sand. The best part is that I can bring along my books and be at peace. When my family went to the beach, my sister and I spent most of our time coming up with artistic sculptures. We also played many different games. Also, going on nature hikes inspired me and gave me a feeling that tells me you're not alone. Thank you, Piano League. Happy holidays and wish you all the best.
Hi, my name is Joseph Yoon. I'm 12 years old and I live in Chantilly, Virginia. Playing the piano is my passion. Apart from piano, I have many other hobbies that I enjoy. For example, I have a second degree black belt in Taekwondo and also learn Korean Komdo, which is a modern Korean martial art focused on swordmanship. I also love to draw and paint. Last but not least, another one of my favorite things to do is to date with my sister when she's back home during break from university. Thank you to the Piano League and all of the judges for the opportunity to compete in the Piano Star competition. It was an honor to compete against so many outstanding pianists from across the world. Thank you, stay safe, and happy holidays.
Hi, my name is Mihiro Kato. I'm 16 years old and I live in the Los Angeles area. In my free time, currently, I'm reading a manga series called Nodame Cantabile, and it's about a pianist and a conductor at a music conservatory in Japan, and it's really silly, but also makes me think about music in my life, so it's been fun reading this. I also love spending time with my family, and over Thanksgiving break, we went to Disneyland, so here's a couple pictures. I have a younger brother who's in 8th grade, and we all had a really great time there. I also love making jewelry out of beads. So here's some tiny ones that I use to make flower designs. And here's a giant case of all my other beads. I love making handmade jewelry for people. I give them as gifts and it makes me really happy to see them wearing it. Last thing, I love spending time with my cat. This is Pumpkin.
Hi, my name is Toya Yanashi. I am 16 years old. I live in Kaohsiung and Harbor City in South Taiwan with my parents and my younger sister. Apart from playing the piano, I enjoy listening to K-pop music, watching movies, and traveling the world. I also play oboe and I often play my part in the school orchestra. I want to thank you to the Piano League for giving me this opportunity to perform and see the other contestants from all around the world.
Hello, my name is Andrei Bakalov, and here are some things about me and things that I do outside of piano. First off, I am 14, I live in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm a freshman at the Ohio Virtual Academy. I have been playing piano for 2 years. I started taking lessons in August of 2020 when I met Nina Polanski. I just have to say, piano is a pretty big part of my life right now. I love everything about it, even practicing. Yeah, you heard me right, I actually enjoy practicing. In fact, I love it so much that I made my parents buy me this lovely kawaii grand piano. It's a GS40 for anyone who's curious. Now, actually outside of piano, I'm a ballroom dancer. My parents own a dance business of nearly 30 years, and for 10 of those years, I have taken dance lessons from my mother, who used to dance professionally. I have also taken dance lessons from my mother with a close friend, Kaita Jacobi, who also participated in this competition last year. Here's a clip of us dancing at a ballroom competition. Thank you so much to the directors and judges of the Piano Star competition for this amazing opportunity. I wish all of the participants good luck and happy holidays to everyone.
Hi, I'm Yiming, and in addition to playing piano, I also like solving the Rubik's Cube. So this is my Rubik's Cube. Pretty cool. So the reason why I like solving the Rubik's Cube is because, first of all, it feels really good to turn the cube. Also, it's just like the sense of accomplishment when you like improve and you get faster at solving it, and also like when you get a personal record, it just feels super good. So I can demonstrate this. I can just scramble it right now. Okay. It's 17:53 is the timer says, so it's all right. It's a decent solve for me. So yeah, this is my hobby. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Yufei Chen. I'm 15 years old, and right now I'm a sophomore at LaGuardia High School. In the free time, I like to read, cook, especially desserts, and this is the little puff that I made. I also like to conducting, and right now I'm learning the Mendelssohn Symphony No. 4. Thank you.
Oh, sorry, my mic was just muted. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that spotlight video. As I mentioned yesterday, that was one of my favorite parts, and is always one of my favorite parts of the competition every year. And I particularly liked when David said that he played League of Legends. I am also a League of Legends player, and David, if you're watching, feel free to add me on League of Legends. In any case, let's first and foremost, before we announce the results, I would like to express my sincere gratitude on behalf of the entire team on Piano League to our 3 judges tonight. Today. It's not yet night yet. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and for being really sincere and open about your opinions of these performances. I know it is unconventional and it is not something that's typically done in a competition, but we've received so much positive feedback and people learn so much from your wisdoms that we decided it was the right thing to do. So thank you so much for all of your time and commitment and being part of this competition. Round of applause for our judges.
Thank you so much.
And of course, besides the judges, the contestants and their parents, their teachers, are what made this event possible. So a sincere thank to the parents and the teachers for your dedication and hard work, for making your sure that this event was filled with such high quality performances. And just Sherry, you and I both know how much hard work we've had to put in, our parents had to put in, and our teacher had to put in. So a sincere round of thanks to these people behind the scene, the support team as well.
Yes, a big thank you to everyone that Brian mentioned. And we also want to give a big shout out to our Piano League team for just going above and beyond with all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And without them, we really could not be able to run this show completely by ourselves. So thank you so much. And we also want to give another big shout out to Alfredo. I know we gave him the shout out yesterday, but he really deserves this. He's running this whole show from behind the scenes. You don't see him, but all the magic that's happening with all the moving parts, that's not us, that's him. So
Correct.
Thank you so much, Alfredo, and really happy to have you on our team.
Yes, exactly. And of course, not just the grand final show, we've had hundreds of applicants before this grand final, and the final round and the preliminary round. The entire Piano League team, sincere thanks to the teammates and the staff at Piano League. All right, so now back to the announcement. So I'd like to just first explain kind of what's at stake here. We have, of course, a lot of prizes. Among those prizes, besides the cash prizes and the trophies, we have, first of all, a Carnegie Recital Hall prize that's given to all the gold and silver medalists of this competition, including the amateur division. So if you'd like to listen to these gold and silver medalists in person, that's your chance. And the date and time for that Carnegie recital will be June, I believe it's June 11th of 2023. And we would be so excited to meet everyone in person.
Yes, really excited about that, especially just because everything has been virtual. And this will really be the first time we get to see these wonderful contestants in person. So there's one more thing we want to mention about the rewards that these contestants are receiving. The Luzerne Music Center is generously sponsoring 3 scholarship packages to our top winners. The gold medalist of Group 1 will receive a 2-week full scholarship, which includes room and board. And the gold medalist in Group 2 will receive a 4-week half scholarship, including room and board. And lastly, the gold medalist in Group 3 will receive a 4-week full scholarship, which includes room and board. In total, that's actually over $10,000 in scholarships. So now what we want to do very quickly, it won't take too long, but we do want to invite up piano faculty of Luzerne Music Center, Enrico Edwards, who was also our final round judge from from last month. And we also want to invite up our camp and festival director, Emily Dahlmeyer, and they will share just a little bit more about Luzerne.
Sure, just very quickly, Emily. Well, good to see you again, and welcome to the show. And just very quickly, what is the Luzerne Music Center? Can you kind of briefly tell people?
And to all of the contestants, it's been so wonderful to watch your performances over the last few days. The Luzerne Music Center, we are a summer festival located in upstate New York. We have a primarily a piano and an orchestral program, and we have students attend ages 9 through 18. So while they're with us in the summertime, they participate in weekly private lessons, daily chamber music. Our pianists participate in a daily piano class as well. And they have the opportunity to perform solo and in groups, and also participate in our concerto competition as well.
Great, thank you for that. And Emily, Emiko, just a quick question for you. What has the piano students at Luzerne said about their experiences in Luzerne, and why is it something that you would recommend to all piano students?
Hi, Ryan. Thanks so much again. I'd like to echo Emily first and say congratulations to everyone that's participated. It's just been wonderful to hear everybody. I think what makes Luzerne so special is it's such a supportive and really collegial environment amongst the students, particularly in the piano group. We're very close-knit. I think there's a really wonderful balance between music making, working hard, and then also having a lot of time to just figure out who you are as a kid and, express yourself in these many different ways. I think that each student has a very, very personalized experience that we as a faculty work really hard to provide. And I encourage all young students to apply to come join us. It's a wonderful place.
Yes, and when is the deadline for
Emily?
This year's?
We have.
Yeah, so we have an early application deadline that is January 1st. And then our final deadline is March 15th this year.
Perfect. So everyone, go check out Luzerne Music Center and apply early so you can get that discount. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
All right. I know you guys have all been waiting for this. It is now time to announce the winners. So we will start with Group 1. Okay. The gold medal for Professional Group 1 goes to and Jurian. Congratulations. You are our gold medalist for Group 1. And now we are going to announce the other winners. So we have silver medal going to Louis Gao. And bronze medal goes to Isabella Yichen Xue. And our honorable mention goes to Joseph J. Yoon. Congratulations, everyone.
Big congratulations to everyone.
And now we will proceed on to Group 2. Our gold medalist for Group 2 goes to Congratulations to David Choi for being our gold medalist in Group 2. And now to announce our other winners. Silver medal goes to Jarmin Wang. Bronze medal goes to Yufei Chen. And our honorable mention goes to Andrei Bakalov. Congratulations, everyone, to Group 2. And last but certainly not least, we will announce the winners for Group 3. Our gold medalist for Group 3 goes to Congratulations.
Congratulations.
To you. You are our gold medalist for Group 3. And for our other winners, silver medal goes to Rachel Zhu. Bronze medal goes to Yiming Huang. And our honorable mention goes to Mihiro Kato. Congratulations to everyone in Group 3, and a big, big round of applause for our 12 grand finalists and for all the hard work they've put into. Congratulations
yes,
to
congratulations. All. And that concludes our show. Please make sure that you, if you missed the show, you can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. And you can, of course, rewatch this whole show on YouTube, where it will be replayed. And
yes. And, next year we will continue to have this competition. So as you've been watching the amateur division and professional division grand finals, if you are interested or your student is interested in this competition, please subscribe to our newsletter to be the first to find out more information about next year's competition.
Right. And I guess before the competition, we'll see some of you at the Carnegie Hall recital next year. All right. So super excited for next year. And thank you for watching. Thank you for the audience. And thank you everyone that's involved. As we always say here at Piano League, happy practicing, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.